A question that I get asked a lot is, should I buy Modern Warfare 3? And also, is Modern Warfare 3 worth it? Now, right off the bat, those are two completely different questions, and I will do my best to answer both of those in this video. I get asked these questions so often and so much that I wanted to finally just make this video and answer those questions for you guys. So yeah, guys, welcome to, I guess, my 1 month review of Modern Warfare 3. How's the game doing currently? How has the experience been for the past month or so? And would I recommend buying this game? Now, as you can see right here, the game is actually on a free trial right now, and basically, you can play almost every aspect of this game except for the campaign, which I don't think you necessarily wants to play. But as expected, Warzone is free, and it's probably going to remain free for as long as we know. Modern Warfare Zombies also has a free trial, so you can play and experience that mode as well. And as far as it goes for multiplayer, these are the free trial playlists that you can play at the moment. So initially, if you're one of those people that's in the "is Modern Warfare 3 worth it" camp, you don't really have to worry about that because you can actually just download the game and try to play it for free. Now, I know some people have been having issues with that because even though the game is free, there's some other issues that some people have been experiencing. The first thing they've noticed is that the game is massive. I'm not too sure on the specifics, but in order to get the entirety of the game and be able to play it, I think your console or your PC will need roughly over 200 gigs, which is, it's insane. It's a lot to ask for, but if you do want to try out the game for free and play it, that's how much space you would need. Some people haven't been able to log in, and some people have been going through a loop of not being able to launch certain aspects of the game, and I think it's because you need to have certain, like, packs of the game installed. Now, honestly, that's not my forte. I own the game, so I can't really speak to that, but just know that almost the entirety of Modern Warfare 3 is currently free to play until December 18th. So if you're watching this video when it goes live, you still have some time to check out the game for yourself and form your own opinion. But just so you guys can get some more perspective and understand my background with Call of Duty, I've been playing the entire franchise since Call of Duty 4. I've gone back and played every Call of Duty game since. I'd like to think that by this point in time, I have a pretty well-rounded perspective on Call of Duty as a whole. Every single year, I do quad feud with every gun. I try to challenge myself and use every single weapon in the game. I like to try out different play styles, basically try out every game mode that they add, try to play the third modes as well, like zombies in this game, as well as also playing the campaigns. So I just try my best to have a good broad understanding of Call of Duty, but at the same time, I do also sink a lot of time into these games when they come out. It's not something I'm trying to brag about. I just want you to understand that you're listening to the perspective of someone who plays this game hard, which I do think makes a difference because some people might only play Call of Duty for like 30 minutes to an hour and then give you a review, which I don't think is all that great. Obviously, Call of Duty is a video game, and you know, if you're someone who plays a bunch of video games, then sure, you have a well-rounded perspective of all types of other games. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna sink days upon days into the game's multiplayer. So yeah, I think it's just important to give you guys that context before we dive into this. I'm not someone who is like gonna play like 3 to 5 TDMs in the newest Call of Duty game and then just chalk it up there, like I'm done. I'm actually gonna show you guys my current stats on Modern Warfare 3. I don't care about the stats that much, but I'm gonna share it with you anyway. Specifically for multiplayer, I'm currently at 4 days, 11 hours. I've played 610 games. KD's a 1.3 and the win-loss is a 0.83, but honestly, those stats don't matter. I think really the time played is the stat that matters more than anything, and honestly, I'm sure you guys know, but that's the amount of time that's tracked while you're playing matches. I've probably been on the game well over 4.5 days or so. It's probably more like a week. I'm pretty sure the in-game tracking doesn't account for, you know, like how I'm just sitting in the menus right now. That doesn't really count as playtime, you know? Looks like my favorite current weapon is the longbow, which would make sense. I have so much fun sniping with this thing. If I click on this, we can see some of my other stats too. I mean, there you go. I was only 1 kill off of an MGB, but I think that was actually in the war mode where you can't even earn it. My highest kill game was 170. I actually do have some highlights from that match if you guys want to see that. It was crazy. Yeah, my favorite weapon is the longbow. The brand new sniper is my second favorite weapon already. And we got the WSP Swarm on there too. I mean, that thing's pretty good. I've mostly been playing the war game mode, but I've also been playing some other, you know, game types as well. Oh my god, my last match I was playing with Matt and I had a 3.5 KD playing some hardpoint terminal, dude. Oh my god. But yeah, I'm getting a little distracted. Let's switch on over to zombies as well. Just as a quick overview, I have roughly a day and a half played on zombies, 50,000 kills. I don't know about the exfil success ratio. I've had some crashing issues, so maybe that kind of messed it up, but I've actually never had an unsuccessful exfil. Every time I've played, I've been able to get back out. But yeah, the zombies mode has actually been pretty fun to play. I'm still progressing the story missions and working on Borealis camo, just kind of taking my time, but we'll talk more about zombies later. And as far as it goes for Warzone, this seems about right. I've only played a handful of games. I've got roughly an hour of playtime, so I haven't played a lot of Warzone 3, but there's a pretty good chance that I will try to play more of it when I'm not camo grinding and trying to do some other things. you know? But the main reason I'm here actually looking at my stats, which I don't really do that much for Call of Duty games, is because this should give you an idea of how much I've played the game since it's come out. If you guys have been watching the channel for a while, you know that there have been certain Call of Duty games that I really did not pour that much time into. A prime example is Infinite Warfare. When the game first came out, I had less than 2 days played for the entire year. But then for Modern Warfare Remastered, I had like over 16 days. And if we look at Modern Warfare 2 from last year, I had almost 12 days. And that number could have definitely gone up if Infinity Ward tried harder and, you know, made the game better. DMZ, I had like 4-5 hours or so. Warzone, I had, you know, roughly a day on there. That's not too bad. An hour and a half for Resurgence, a day and a half for Plunder. I think you get the idea. I actually had a decent amount of time played on Modern Warfare 2, but this number could have easily been higher if they cared about the game and supported it more. So where does that leave us with Modern Warfare 3? Well, we're roughly halfway into Season 1 for Modern Warfare 3, sort of. I mean, it might be a little bit less time than that. But if you guys saw the Season 1 roadmap, then you would already know that this is just insane compared to what we got with Modern Warfare 2 Season 1 last year. There's so much more content. There's so much more to do. The game regularly has little events that you can do that actually get you some pretty decent rewards. Even if you don't like the camos or the skins, you do get double XP tokens and stuff like that. It helps you progress through things faster, which is always nice. This event's going on for 4 more days, and then right after that, there's going to be another in-game event. At first, I was kind of opposed to the armory unlock system that we have in the game, but once you understand how to complete things pretty quickly, it's really not that bad. And since we have weekly challenges that can unlock new and exciting things to use in the game, so far the system has actually been pretty good. It might not be the best progression system we've had in a Call of Duty game, and they could maybe continue to do something like this, but just implement it better. Some people freak out and get really heated about these kinds of things, but if you just take a moment to breathe and, you know, give them some constructive feedback about how they could make it better, then they easily could. Like, I think a prime example is this. It's kind of hard to show you because it doesn't apply to me because I already have every armory unlock done in the game, but if I try to go to a class and give you a quick little example, they might have had a daily challenge of like kill 3 enemies with a Semtex, but you wouldn't have the Semtex unlocked until you got it from armory unlocks. That just seems like a big oversight, and if they could have avoided situations like that, then I don't think people would complain nearly as much. They definitely tried something new, and it might not be the perfect implementation, but they're trying at least. The only main drawback is that this hinders the ability to have a classic prestige system in the game because of how this new progression works, and it does also artificially slow down the rate at which you can unlock things in the game. But once you realize that you can actually just exfil with a lot of these different items and guns when you're playing zombies, that can actually save you a ton of time when it comes to the armory unlock system in the game. So if the progression system is a pain point for you, just know that you could do zombies to offset that. And I know some people might not want to play zombies, but that could have also been their way of trying to get people's foot in the door and actually try the mode out and give it a chance. But yeah, as far as it goes for multiplayer, I mean, we have so much variety in terms of weaponry, mostly because they did carry forward all of the weapons from Modern Warfare 2. But even then, there's also a lot of new guns that you can use in Modern Warfare 3. There's a lot of fun weapons to use. If I specifically just choose the Modern Warfare 3 weapons, I mean, here's all of the assault rifles you can use in the game. Here's all of the battle rifles. We have all of the SMGs. There's a lot of variety there. Decent variety with the shotguns as well. I mean, right off the bat, we have a pump, a semi-auto, and a full auto shotgun too. We've got LMGs, and, you know, interestingly enough, they have some pretty unique and fun attachments to use. We got some marksman rifles as well, and what's really interesting about Modern Warfare 3 compared to last year is that the sniper rifles in the game have actually been really viable and fun to use. And we don't have a single marksman rifle like the SPR or the SAB, which essentially took over the sniping last year. From my perspective, the SPR and the SAB were really the only actual fun snipers to use, and they weren't even in the sniper rifle category. They were labeled as marksman rifles. In this game, all the marksman rifles are basically just semi-auto, and they don't fill that role. I would say the longbow definitely fills the role that the SPR and the SAB had last year. The Cat AMR is an extremely powerful, hard-hitting sniper, even though it's a little bit slower. The XRK Stalker is a good in-between, and then the KV Inhibitor is a semi-auto that also kind of hits average. And as far as goes for secondaries, you know, we have a variety of different pistols as well. We've got semi-auto, we got the Magnum, we got full auto. The launchers are a little disappointing, but at the same time, we've gotten to a point in Call of Duty where you don't really need launchers to take out kill streaks. Typically, your primary weapon will be able to take them out relatively fast, but you do have some options here as well. And, you know, this one's, I think, is still pretty useless in a lot of situations, especially against high tier streaks, but the RGL-80 is fun to use as well. And then we have 2 different melee weapons, and I'm sure that this amount is going to change as we get more content, more seasons. Now, I'm not going to lie, I do miss just having classic, more typical perks in a Call of Duty game. Instead, in this game, we have gloves, boots, and gear, and also the vest system. It's not overly confusing once you're actually on the game and you're experimenting with your classes and stuff. You will get familiarized with it, and it does essentially fill the same role as the classic perks. But that's kind of the point I'm going to make here, which is why even make this in the first place? Why make it in such a way? If you change your vest, Your vest doesn't physically change on your character. If you change your gloves, it has no effect in game as well. Same thing with the boots. I thought this might be the case, but this has no change on your actual character in game whatsoever. Now, a big part of this is gonna have to do with the fact that, you know, there's so many different skins, and oh my god, that's brand new. we got the pain deer skin. Oh lord. If you're buying this, you're a free headshot. Not gonna lie, that's actually kind of a neat skin. Oh, they got a little present wrap LMG. Look at that. See, what's funny is I'm not as mad about the skins in the store because I actually like the game. That's what happens when you actually listen to your community and you care about what they have to say. We're not gonna turn against you for making 1,000 skins because you're also giving us really good content and updates. But yeah, I was getting a little sidetracked there. Back to the perk system in the game. I don't hate this system, but it's also not my favorite. Because you see, the best thing about the original perk system in the older Call of Duty games is that it really gave it a more arcadey feel. Just looking at this section of the UI is honestly very boring to look at. It doesn't differentiate any of the perks or any of the different categories. It's all just bland and gray. And I do understand that a big part of this is that whole push for like a mil-sim looking game, but this is Call of Duty. At some point we have to take a step back and realize, yeah, we're trying to make it look and feel like a mil-sim game, but I also have a space mastery camo unlocked for my guns. I can also just go on over to the store and buy a reindeer skin. This is not a serious mil-sim game, and I think that we need to go back and maybe consider rethinking some of these decisions. I mean, the perks don't have to be boring mil-sim stuff. They never were in previous Call of Duty games, and I really don't see why it would be so hard to go back to that, especially because the perks functionally work the same as they used to. Granted, they're not all identical and they're not all the same, but I think you guys know what I'm saying. But yeah, next up, as far as it goes for kill streaks, you know, a lot of these kill streaks are the same from Modern Warfare 2, but we also have a lot of Black Ops 2 inspired kill streaks. I honestly can't remember if we had a SAM turret in Black Ops 2, but we did in Black Ops 1. We got the Hunter Killer drone coming back in the form of the Mosquito drone. We've got the Guardian coming back from Black Ops 2, although it does look and function a little bit differently, but we do have that as well. We have a bunch of other kill streaks that I'm sure you guys are very familiar with, but we also had the EMP and the Swarm come back recently. It's just really interesting to see the sheer amount of variety of kill streaks that we have in the game. Honestly, I'd like to see dogs come back. It kind of feels like the game could be moving in this direction. Like, this game has so much potential to reintroduce so many kill streaks and just give us so much variety and so many different options to choose from. Which, speaking of which, you can also just click the right trigger and toggle between kill streaks and score streaks. I personally prefer score streaks, especially when you're playing the objective and stuff. But if you want to go for classic kill streaks, you can as well. If you want to get the EMP and the Swarm, it's 13 and 15 kills respectively, which is a lot. But if you set it to score streaks, you'll probably get them slightly faster if you're playing objective game modes. But yeah, as far as it goes for operators in the game, this follows suit from, you know, I think ever since Modern Warfare 2019. The game does try to give us the illusion that we're still playing on different factions like Task Force 141 or Op4. I do like the subtle nod and trying to bring that back, but it's obviously just not the same because you can still choose from and play a wide variety of operators. So definitely don't go into Modern Warfare 3 thinking that if you're on Task Force 141, you're going to be playing some kind of default looking soldier that looks like that. You could very well have a team of Nicki Minaj's on your side, especially because all of the skins from Modern Warfare 2 carried forward as well. So if you do decide to get the game or even just try out the trial, you're gonna see rats running around. It's pretty gross, but this is how they generate billions and billions of dollars in microtransactions every year, and unfortunately, I just don't see this changing anytime soon. Being able to buy and customize your character with all kinds of different skins is not even just a staple of Call of Duty at this point. It's become a widespread thing in gaming, I feel like, especially because of Fortnite. And realistically, I just don't see that changing anytime soon. I would really hope that it's not a breaking point for a lot of people. I do understand, obviously, those complaints and the criticism towards it. But you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not gonna buy Call of Duty games because you can play as a bunch of wacky skins and operators, then you're just never gonna buy a Call of Duty game. At least a brand new one, you know what I'm saying? This is just how gaming is now. It's just the direction it's gonna be moving in, I'm pretty sure, going forward forever. It's just gonna be a tough pill to swallow. But I mean, if you really don't like the skins, or if you just don't care, you can always just play as default operators. I mean, look at this guy. We got Rocket over here. He doesn't look like anything too out of the ordinary. He just looks like default Soldier Man guy. I have seen suggestions that people have thrown around of the idea of putting a setting in the game that would actually disable the ability to see some of these crazy wacky skins in the game. So for example, even if someone is buying all kinds of different skins, you could essentially just toggle a setting that would hide all of the store skins and you would just be looking at default operator skins when you're playing. The reason they're not going to do that is because it de-incentivizes people to buy skins. Because if you're just someone who's going to load up the game and play casually and not really care about that stuff, you're still going to see the skins in game, and that could entice you to look at the store. For example, if you see a reindeer skin in the game, you might be wondering how they get it, and then you're going to realize, well, you have to go to the store to buy it. I don't see them giving us a setting anytime soon that's going to disable the feature to be able to see those skins and then potentially be enticed to go to the store and buy them. Me personally, I don't think that's a bad idea. It would neutralize that experience and have people just focus on the game more instead of the skins that exist in the game. But from a technical standpoint, that might not be possible. And even if it were, that's just a stupid business decision on their side of things, and I just don't see that happening. But next up for multiplayer, I do want to discuss something which a lot of people are very curious about, which is skill-based matchmaking in this game. I gotta be honest, guys, I'm not exactly sure how they are deciding to handle skill-based matchmaking this year. In a second, I am going to do a blind test, and we're going to go into the free trial playlist, and we're just going to play one game, and we're going to take a look at the people who are in the match and see what kind of variety there is in terms of the levels and the different guns they're using and the playstyles. But before we do that, I do want to give my thoughts on skill-based matchmaking in this game and how I think it might be different from last year. So in Modern Warfare 2, this was typically the experience for me, and you can let me know if this is how you felt about it as well. You would get on Modern Warfare 2, and you would go to play a match. And typically that match was kind of like a softball. It was usually an easy match to play. You know what I mean? Like, it's your first game on, go out, have fun, go destroy everyone. It's your first game, have a good time. But then after that, especially if you were performing really well, the next like 5 to 10 games on average would just be a complete sweat fest. You'd have to try your ass off. Typically the games were very evenly matched. The scores would be super close, and really no one's having a lot of fun in a match like that. It just kind of felt like overly balanced, and when stuff like that happens, it feels like you're not being rewarded for getting better at the game or even trying. When you catch on to a system like that, it feels like you're being punished for playing well. And this is a stark contrast to ranked play from Modern Warfare 2, where you do get rewarded for playing better. You can climb the SR ladder and you can try to get better at the game. But that's not how it worked in public matches last year. If you were getting better at the game, you were also going to be matched up against sweatier players, and you were most likely just not going to have a lot of fun. And it doesn't matter what skill level you're at. You could be a noob, but if you got on your first game and you were playing well, you would be thrown into a match that would be probably too difficult for your current skill level. And the big reason this is a turnoff for a lot of players is because not everyone is getting on the game to sweat around with a meta loadout. Sometimes you want to go around and snipe. Sometimes you want to use a goofy akimbo weapon. Sometimes you want to use a flamethrower and just burn everyone alive. It's not a great playstyle and you're typically going to do bad. But the point is that not everyone's getting on the game to always play the same way. And that is where Modern Warfare 3 comes into play. Now again, this is just my experience. I don't have
technical data and information about skill-based matchmaking.
I have my experiences to share with you guys. When I get on Modern Warfare 3, I'm going to tell you straight up, the first match that I play on this game is usually my worst game. From over a month of playing now, I have noticed that when I play my first match, it's typically the hardest match I'll play for the day. And I feel like that's the game's way of testing me. It has felt like the game's way of saying, is he gonna be sweating today? Or is he not trying that hard? I feel like right off the bat, the game is trying to gauge interest about what kind of player I am in that moment. And it feels like the game's best way of trying to figure that out is putting me in a hard match right off the bat. If I do well, then typically I end up playing similar matches after that. But if I'm trying to like goof around with something that's terrible and not meta, then I usually do really bad, and then immediately the next 5 to 10 games after that tends to be a lot easier. Now at the time of recording this video, we don't have the update about skill-based matchmaking from Sledgehammer Games yet, but they are at some point going to publicly address it and talk about it. I don't know how much information they're going to share, but this is just from my perspective. This is just from my experience playing the game. Now I'm going to attempt to prove that by going into one of the free trial game modes, which I have noticed on average seem to have less skill-based matchmaking, if not none at all. I don't know if they're going to be sharing information about that, but let's just go into the free 6v6 mosh pit. I was thinking ground war, but we're going to do this instead. I feel like this is a more typical experience that a lot more people are going to play. Now, interestingly enough, this was 12v12 at one point, but they switched it back to 6v6. I really wish it was still 12v12. So look at the levels in here. This is because we're playing the free trial. There's a lot of people picking up and playing this game for the first time. Now, I'm really curious to see if these people are going to be really good at the game, even if they're like brand new to it, or if they're going to be, you know, not the best. I'm gonna snipe with my typical swap longbow class, which I would use in this situation, and we'll just see how it turns out. Let's see. Trying to get an idea of, like, you know, we got some CDL skins and stuff. We got people not even playing quite yet. Seems like right off the bat we already have some decent variety. Oh, okay. That guy's level 15. He's already beaming me at the start. Now, obviously, this is just one match. It's not going to prove that much. There we go. We already got a quad feed. Look at that. Beautiful start, boys. Woohoo! Which, by the way, I didn't get to mention this at the beginning, but all of the maps, or at least like the typical 6v6 content, is the original Modern Warfare 2 maps from 2009. Every single map has been remastered, and they did a really good job with it. They did make some tweaks and changes here and there, but it's not anything too drastic. The maps, for the most part, do play out the same. But one of the things that they marketed with this game as well is the movement. I mean, it does feel a lot like Modern Warfare 2, but it does feel a lot more fluid and smooth and fast. We do have slide canceling and stuff. Oh boy. And you will notice in general that the pacing of the game is faster than last year. So even though I'm frying with a sniper right now, it's still a pretty evenly matched game. I could have had a quad headshot feed. Oh my god, no! Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, sniping has been my favorite thing to do in Modern Warfare 3. It's just been an absolute blast. But what's really nice is that every single playstyle that I've seen and tried so far has been viable. If you want to go melee only, you can do that. If you want to just use assault rifles and SMGs, no one's gonna stop you. If anything, you're probably gonna have an even easier time. Now, the time to kill is slower than Modern Warfare 2 from last year, but I honestly think it's a very welcome change. Even the Modern Warfare 2 weapons have been rebalanced to fit the time to kill, and it's just so much better. It's not overly slow, but it's not overly fast either. And what's really nice about that is it makes playing hardcore feel like you're actually playing hardcore. Last year in Modern Warfare 2, there wasn't much of a difference between playing core and hardcore. Now, obviously, some of that has to do with weapon balancing and the amount of damage that they deal as well. Oh, he had a grenade cooking, no? Oh! Yeah, we are killing this match, dude. I'm pretty sure if I were to play another match after this, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. But it is kind of hard to tell with the free trial. But the reason I'm playing the free trial is because if you see this video and you're like, okay, I might check out the game, this is what you're in for. These are the types of matches you're going to get. People who are brand new to the game, level 1s, struggling to get double-digit kills and stuff. It feels like skill-based matchmaking has been turned off. But I think more realistically, what's happening is that there's more people playing the game, so there's a bigger pool of players to choose from. But my biggest takeaway from the free trial is that really, they should just make Call of Duty free to play at this point. I just think it would be so much better for the player base, the variety of the matches, everything. And even though they wouldn't be able to get that guaranteed like $1 billion in sales right off the bat, you know, from selling a brand new Call of Duty game, they could easily recoup that money if there's a lot of people playing and they keep, you know, putting stuff in the store and trying to sell microtransactions. I'm not exactly sure how you guys feel about that, but I think it could be a step in the right direction because, I mean, look, Warzone is free every single year. I know the biggest complaint from people is that this feels and looks like a $70 DLC, which I totally understand, and it puts people like me in a difficult position because before the game came out, I was ready to kind of shit all over it, but then it turned out to be fucking amazing. The game has been a lot of fun to play. It has a lot of replay value. It's been really good. We've been getting really good seasons, good DLC content, amazing updates that fix a lot of the issues the community has. If they keep this up, this is on trends to be one of the better supported Call of Duty games, especially compared to Modern Warfare 2 from last year. Now, I had seen some stuff about how the standard version of the game I think is on sale for like $50, but still, I think Call of Duty, especially the multiplayer side of things, would see a much more positive reception overall if the multiplayer was free to play. We can use another franchise as an example. Just look at Halo. The multiplayer is free to play, which allows more people to get access to the game and play it. But if you want to pay for the campaign, you can. And in hindsight, I would have probably just stuck with the free-to-play multiplayer because the campaign for Infinite wasn't all that great. And that's kind of the case here with Modern Warfare 3 as well. The campaign was extremely short and not as good as it could have been, which, by the way, that was a crazy match. 2 KD first game on, just chatting away and sniping with the longbow. Dude, I love this playlist, man. It has been so good. I feel kind of bad for not mentioning this earlier in the video, but this video is kind of more focused on the multiplayer side of things because that's what I play the most. So I feel like I can give you guys more insight and perspective on the multiplayer side of the game. You guys already saw, I have not played really much Warzone 3 at all. And while I played a decent amount of zombies, I'm not a zombies dedicated channel for Call of Duty. I will say that I've been very pleasantly surprised with Modern Warfare zombies though. My expectations, especially coming off of Call of Duty Vanguard zombies, were just completely in the gutter. But zombies in Modern Warfare 3 has actually been pretty fun to play. I don't have a great knife only class, but I kind of want to do it. Here we go. Now I should have probably mentioned this at the start of the video, but I'm not trying to sell you guys the fucking game. I know when someone's saying nice things or being positive about something, it's very easy for someone to say,
Oh, look at this guy. He's on the Activision payroll. How much money did they pay you to say good things?
They paid me fucking nothing. There have been situations where the PR team has sent me things in the past, and you know, if they do something like that, I make sure to disclose it and make it obvious. There's no reason for me whatsoever to hide that. If I was ever actually just straight up being paid money from Activision to say nice things about Call of Duty, I would just tell you. I've been doing this for so long, it makes no sense to do some stupid shit like that. Especially because in the past, I've been negative, just straight up about certain games. Prime example is last year. Modern Warfare 2 2022 had a lot of potential at the start, completely fell flat. Lukewarm updates and not really paying attention to the community and listening to our feedback. What about the year before that, Vanguard? I straight up said Vanguard is the worst Call of Duty game ever made, and that was made by Sledgehammer Games. Look where we are now. It's amazing what can happen when a studio actually cares about their community and listens to their feedback and adjusts accordingly. Ooh! Ooh! He was just sniping back there. Dude, that was amazing. That was beautiful. Beautiful knifing quad feed. Let's go, dude. Hell yeah. You might have... Wait, we got the EMP straight up? A knifing EMP? Bro, I gotta keep moving. No, I shouldn't have pushed him. I was already low, dude. Damn, we could have had a swarm, a knifing swarm. Also, yo, the EMP effect. Oh, we had an actual Aurora Borealis in the sky. That looked nice. But the reason I'm making a video like this is not to sell you the game. It's just to give you some more insight from someone who plays the game a lot. And whether or not you decide to consider my advice or not, it's all good. I just don't really like it when people are pushing a certain narrative that I don't necessarily agree with. Like, you can call the game $70 DLC, right? You know, I get the jokes, I get the memes and stuff, but to say that it's bad, when at least on the multiplayer side of things, this is better than a lot of Call of Duty games, especially in recent years, that just feels like a disservice. It feels like a lie to say that. Now, if you personally don't vibe with or enjoy the multiplayer, that's one thing. But in terms of the content that we've gotten so far, and especially the quality of life updates and improvements to the game, Sledgehammer Games is killing it right now. You guys may or may not remember, but there were so many times last year when there were patch notes coming out for Modern Warfare 2, and I would make a video, and I would just be so let down and disappointed because it just straight up felt like Infinity Ward was not listening to anything we had to say, and they did not want to change or adjust anything. That's not how it is this year. Sledgehammer Games has already fixed so many different problems and issues with the game. I think a prime example is the war game mode, which has been one of my favorite things to play. I'm not going to be playing it right now, but I know some of you guys are tired of seeing war gameplay, but it really is the best thing to play in multiplayer. I'm just saying. But they straight up had out of the map and under the map glitches for quite a bit, and I actually stopped playing the mode for a while. But recently they did fix it, as well as fixing the kills not tracking on the scoreboard too. It really does feel like Sledgehammer Games cares about the entirety of supporting the game, but especially the multiplayer side of things, which is just very nice and refreshing. It can feel kind of annoying and frustrating when Warzone gets all of the attention and all of the content and changes and stuff, and then multiplayer is pushed to the side, especially because this is what most people pay for. And that's really the main point I want to try to drive home with this video. I know a lot of people view this game as a $70 DLC. So going back to the question, is Modern Warfare 3 worth it? Like I said at the start of the video, you have the ability to try every aspect of this game, minus the campaign, for free. But I'll tell you straight up, if you're looking to play this game's multiplayer, this game is worth it just for that alone. The zombies is a very nice bonus. If you want to check out Warzone, obviously you can do that as well. But I do feel very strongly that if you were to buy this game purely for the campaign, that's where you're going to get shafted. I think I'm actually in the minority when it comes to opinions on the Modern Warfare 3 campaign. I don't think it's the worst we've ever had, but I also would not recommend buying this game for the campaign. It's the shortest campaign we've ever had in a Call of Duty game aside from Black Ops 4. There is some replay value in the open combat missions and if you're achievement hunting, but beyond that, there is not a lot of other depth and replay value. I've touched on those aspects in previous videos, especially my big review for Modern Warfare 3. So with all of those things being said, that loops us back to the main question, should you buy Modern Warfare 3? And this is my answer based on my playing experience and my time with the game so far. If you're someone who's going to put the most amount of time into the typical 6v6 multiplayer experience that you're looking at right now, then I would say that the game is going to be worth it. Especially on the multiplayer side of things, I think this game really surprised a lot of us and actually turned out to be really solid. Again, I can't really say the same for the campaign. I have really been enjoying my time with zombies, but if you're a hardcore zombies player, then you're probably not going to want to buy this game purely for the zombies experience unless you really liked Outbreak in Black Ops Cold War, or if you're someone who actually really enjoyed DMZ from last year and you don't mind playing a zombies kind of version of that. But if you're an OG, if you're someone who is really hardcore into zombies, or especially someone who really prefers round-based zombies, then this is not it. And I would definitely save your money and wait for Treyarch's Call of Duty game next year, assuming that it's gonna have round-based zombies, which it definitely should because it's gonna be a Treyarch title, but I mean, you never know. And as far as it goes for the Warzone side of things, I don't care as much, especially because that entire experience is free to play, which is why I also didn't really pay a lot of attention to Warzone for this specific video, because I'm talking about actually paying money for the game and buying it. Now, I will add one slight caveat to this whole thing as far as it goes for the multiplayer side of things. I think it's also fair to consider whether or not you actually care about or enjoy specifically the Modern Warfare subgenre. Because I know for a fact that at this point, with how many different types of Call of Duty games we've had over the years, some people prefer World War II Call of Duty games. Some people like the Modern Warfare stuff. Some people like the Black Ops stuff. Some people are going to be waiting forever for another futuristic EXO Call of Duty game. And I just want to be very transparent and straight up with you. If you're someone who likes the Modern Warfare types of games, then yes, this is a no-brainer. As long as Sledgehammer keeps up what they've been doing for the last month or so for the multiplayer side of things, then they're gonna kill it. They've been doing an amazing job so far, and this could go down as one of the better Modern Warfare multiplayer games. But if you're someone who prefers, obviously, World War II Call of Duty games, or the Black Ops stuff, or especially futuristic EXO-COD games, then this might not be it for you. Because some people just have different tastes. They like to use different sets of weapons and stuff like that. They like a certain environment or atmosphere or vibe. And I think it goes without saying that this game, Modern Warfare 3, will obviously have a different type of identity compared to those games. You know what I mean? Like, this game is trying to be the whole, like, tactical, realistic mil-sim type of Modern Warfare thing, but just like the older Modern Warfare games, especially like Modern Warfare 2, the original one, they do their best to try to present it in that way. And then they put skins like this in the game, or they have like over-the-top things like one-man army noob tubes, which you can get an unlimited amount of. I mean, come on, that's not realistic, guys. And that was back in 2009. Honestly, the closest thing we've ever had to a realistic mil-sim Call of Duty game was COD 4, where it really all started for a lot of us. And the only other COD game that has tried to mimic that was really Modern Warfare 2019, but even then, they started selling some goofy skins. But yeah, guys, that's gonna do it for my sort of 1 month review of Modern Warfare 3. Thank you guys very much for watching. I really wanted this video to just be more laid back and chill and just kind of talk about my experience with the game so far. Obviously, this game's not gonna be for everyone, but I just wanted to really share my thoughts on it as someone who has played way too much Call of Duty over the years and especially puts a lot of their time and emphasis still in the multiplayer side of things. And with that being said, I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did and you want to see some more Modern Warfare 3 stuff like this, make sure to drop a like. I'll see you guys later.
Outcome, train goes.